Is the theocracy in Iran an enemy of the American people and all people who refuse to adopt the theocracy's radical version of Islam?
Well, Senator, I'm not a scholar in that regard, but I would say that Iran presents a clear and present danger to all those who do not bend.
Well, do you think they're our friend?
They are not our friend.
And how long have they not been our friend and the world's friend?
For many decades, sir.
How many innocent people has the theocracy in Iran killed because they refuse to adopt the theocracy's radical version of Islam?
Patriots, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about something that ought to be plain common sense but apparently is too much for the DC elite to grasp. I just finished watching a Senate hearing where once again our military leaders and elected officials had to spell out the obvious. Iran is not our friend, never has been our friend, and God help us if we pretend otherwise. So buckle up, because we're going to break this down piece by piece, and I'm going to tell you exactly why this hearing should matter to every single freedom-loving American. You heard it yourself. The senator asked point blank, is the theocracy in Iran an enemy of the American people and all people who refuse to adopt their radical version of Islam? The general, bless him, tried to be diplomatic. But the truth is it's obvious. Of course Iran is our enemy. This is a regime that has murdered thousands upon thousands simply because people wouldn't bend the knee to their extremist ideology. That's not an ally, that's a fanatical dictatorship. Now, you'd think everybody in that hearing room could agree on this? But no. Some of the geniuses in Congress had the gall to call President Trump's decision to destroy Iran's nuclear capabilities impetuous. Impetuous? Are you kidding me? Let me explain something to these career politicians. When a hostile regime chants, "Death to America," and develops the technology to make that happen, you don't sit around and debate the finer points of their feelings. You act. You protect your people. That's called leadership. Let's not forget, Iran has been the #1 state sponsor of terror since the 1979 revolution. They've armed Hezbollah. They've killed American soldiers in Iraq and Afghanistan with roadside bombs. They've funded proxy wars to destabilize the Middle East. And they'd do worse if they had a nuclear weapon. So when that senator said, if your neighbor says he's going to kill you, you should believe him, he was absolutely right. But apparently that's too straightforward for some in Washington, who'd rather hide behind academic language than acknowledge reality.
Is the theocracy in Iran an enemy of the American people and all people who refuse to adopt the theocracy's radical version of Islam?
Well, Senator, I'm not a scholar in that regard, but I would say that Iran presents a clear and present danger to all those who do not bend.
Well, do you think they're our friend?
They are not our friend.
And how long have they not been our friend and the world's friend?
For many decades, sir.
How many innocent people has the theocracy in Iran killed because they refuse to adopt the theocracy's radical version of Islam?
I don't have a number, but it's in the thousands.
Tens of thousands, right?
I would think so, yes, sir.
Hundreds of thousands, right?
Again, I don't have the exact number, but I would not be surprised if it were.
If the theocracy in Iran developed a nuclear weapon, would they be more or less dangerous?
No, they would be far more dangerous, Senator. There's a saying, if your neighbor says he's going to kill you, you should believe him.
Can we agree that the president's decision to destroy the Iranian theocracy's nuclear weapon capabilities made the world safer?
I would say it did.
What's impetuous mean?
Well, sir, impetuous means, again, I'm a poli-sci major from the Texas State School. Impetuous means flippant.
Without thought, without care.
Yes, sir.
You're not a politician, are you?
No, sir, I am not.
Okay. One of my friends on the committee said that America's decision to destroy the Iranian theocracy's ability to make a nuclear bomb was impetuous. Do you think that's an accurate description? In light of the theocracy's years of hatred and bloodshed?
Well, Senator, I would say it is a good thing that Iran does not have a nuclear weapon.
Yeah, I would too. I don't understand why we can't agree on that. I don't. Let me talk about shipbuilding in a few minutes I have. Mr. Secretary, for the last 2 decades, well, let me ask the Admiral. He's not a politician either. Admiral, in the last 2 decades, we've doubled the amount of money we have given the Navy to build ships. We've actually had fewer ships today because we've retired more than we've built. Tell me why in 30 seconds.
Well, the simple answer, sir, is we were building 4 or 5 DDGs a year in the mid-'90s, and we're building 2 a year now. So
Why?
that's the
We've
simple
given you
math.
more money.
Well, they cost more money, sir.
How much money do you need to catch up to China?
I'll have to get back to you on the specific answer. I think I'd be satisfied in the meantime to just build at the rate we're supposed to and not be behind.
How far behind are we?
We're behind in every ship class to different rates,
Okay.
but at least years.
We can't catch up without our private sector shipyards, can we?
We cannot.
Okay. Both Tier 1 and Tier 2 shipyards, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We got to do better, Admiral. This isn't acceptable. In the last few seconds I have, I want to make a comment about the money and the way we're going to get it to you. Nothing would please me more. I would do old man backflips to see the United States Congress put together a budget supporting our military that looks like somebody designed the damn thing on purpose. Last year, this committee worked very hard. We put together 12 bipartisan bills. A lot of us had to swallow things we didn't want to swallow, but we wanted to get it to the floor. And Senator Schumer refused to even put the bill on the floor. Now, what makes anyone with an IQ above their weight or their age think that now that he is in the minority, Senator Schumer is going to cooperate with us to get a budget on the floor? What I'm trying to tell you is, back here on planet Earth, you're going to have to make do with the money we get you on reconciliation. We're headed toward a series of CRs. I hope I'm wrong. But again, I live on planet Earth. We can do more than one reconciliation bill, but you and your colleagues need to start planning for that eventuality. Maybe it'll change. Maybe someday donkeys will fly backwards too. But for the foreseeable future, I don't see it. That's regrettable, but it's reality. We need to plan for it. Just like we had to plan for the reality of Iran having a nuclear weapon. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And let's talk about the second part of this hearing, the Navy. You want to know why our adversaries are emboldened? Because while we've doubled our spending on shipbuilding over the last 2 decades, we've somehow ended up with fewer ships. The Admiral explained it in plain English. We're not building fast enough and everything costs more. Meanwhile, China is churning out ships like they're making toy boats in a factory. Here's what makes me furious. Our military is falling behind because our own Congress can't pass a budget. The senator made it crystal clear. Last year they put together 12 bipartisan bills to fund our defense, and Senator Schumer refused to even bring them to the floor. Let me repeat that, he wouldn't even let them get a vote. So while the radical left obsesses over pronouns, climate hysteria, and appeasing our enemies, the Chinese Communist Party is preparing to replace us as the world's dominant naval power. And you and I will pay the price for that weakness if we don't demand better. Folks, this isn't a game. We are dealing with an Iran that wants us dead and a China that wants to control the future. If you think the solution is to negotiate harder or be nicer, you are delusional. We need a Congress that will fund our military properly, build our Navy back up, and stop pretending that diplomacy works with regimes that only respect strength. And that's why this hearing should be headline news every night. But of course, the corporate media won't touch it because it doesn't fit their narrative. It exposes how our so-called leaders have failed to protect America's interests. So here's my message to you. Do not let them gaslight you into thinking defending ourselves is impetuous. Don't let them convince you that gutting our Navy or pretending Iran is a misunderstood neighbor is somehow enlightened. It's suicidal. And if you love this country, if you believe in peace through strength, it's time to stand up, speak out, and vote like your life depends on it. Because one day it just might. If you agree, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video so more Americans understand what's really going on. We have to wake up before it's too late. Stay vigilant, stay proud, and God bless the United States of America.